We're going to look at how to integrate odd powers of cosine, so when we don't have an odd power of sine. So here we have cosine to the fifth of x dx, and you could think of this as cosine to the fifth of x dx. Oops, sorry, I don't want that dx. Times sine of x to the 0. Right, because that would just be 1. So this works anytime you have even powers of sine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write cosine before we put it in the integral. We're going to write cosine to the fifth of x. This is the same thing as cosine, and just like we did with sine in the other one, we want to write the power as 2k plus 1. Now 5 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1. Another way to know what number you're going to put there in the parentheses, you subtract 1 from your odd number, so that would make it 4, and divide it by 2. So we get 2. Okay, so what this tells us is that for every cosine squared, which is what this part is, the number in the parentheses tells us how many cosine squared we have. We're going to do 1 minus sine squared of x. And then since we have 2 powers of those, that's going to be squared. And then this plus 1 at the end, for that we put a cosine of x at the end. So what we're really going to integrate here is the integral of 1 minus sine squared of x squared times cosine of x dx. Now what we're going to do is do a u substitution. And here we're going to let u be equal to sine of x. And the derivative of u then, the derivative of sine, is cosine of x dx. So our substitution, where we have sine, we're going to put in a u. So this is going to be 1 minus u squared. And then, oh, and that whole thing squared. And then our cosine of x dx, that's our du. So that is the integral we're going to do here. We're going to integrate 1 minus u squared squared du. Now this is a pretty simple integral. We're going to FOIL out 1 minus u squared, and when you FOIL that out, you get 1 minus 2u squared plus u to the fourth du. And that's a pretty simple integral to u. We're just going to use the power rule. So we'd add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. So we're going to have u minus, this will become u cubed, and then we'll divide by 3. So we'll have 2/3 u cubed plus, and then it'll be u to the fifth over 5. So 1/5 u to the fifth. So we've integrated, so we don't have limits, so we're going to say plus c. Now the only thing we have to remember is that our original problem was in terms of x, and so we need to put this back in terms of x, and remember we let u be equal to sine of x. So anywhere where we have a u, we're going to put sine of x. So our final solution here would be sine of x minus 2/3 sine cube of x plus 1/5 sine to the fifth of x plus c.